any other platform where podcasts are available. You'll be able to watch this broadcast again on my IG, as well as, which is at Rodney Damon Collins, or you'll be able to see it on Honeycomb Aesthetics if she chooses to show it, and my YouTube channel, which is Rodney Damon Collins TV. Today I have one of my favorite guests of all time. She is an amazing young woman now, so she's not a girl, she's a young woman, and she's doing her own thing. She has her own life, which as a father, it's exciting, but it's also hard. But I'm watching her just blossom into this beautiful entrepreneur, and I'm very proud of her. Without further ado, I want to introduce my daughter, Anointed Lachey Collins, who's the owner of Honeycomb Aesthetics. And thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you for making some time for your dad. Fathers don't get a lot of time with their kids when they get older, so I appreciate that. So, how's your day going?
It's a little gloomy outside from the air quality, so trying to fight through that, get some sun, but that's going to be a good day. It's Friday.
Yeah, we're feeling the same thing because the fires, we're all getting the effects, so it's kind of hard for us out here. But I want to talk to you briefly just about your business and why you decided to start it and what's your plans for the future. So why don't you just share with us what made you decide to run your own business?
It's been a long road coming to this decision. I've always worked for someone. I've always wanted to work for someone just because of the security that it gives. You get PTO, you get sick time, etc. But throughout the jobs that I've held, whether it's as a teenager or as an adult, I've always found myself fed up very quickly with jobs, whether it's with, management or policies, etc. I've always found like something that I nitpicked and I couldn't deal with it and I had to find somewhere else, and it was one place after another. And you've always told me if you want to control things, if you want your business to run a certain way, if you don't want to have to deal with someone else telling you what to do, the only way to get around it is to have your own business. And then I still was trying to go against the grain by going to nursing school and still having the security of working for someone. And then after I was one seat from getting into nursing school, I was left with a lot of options, which brought me to California against my will. I was perfectly fine. In Ohio, but it seems like life just kept dragging me places I didn't want to go. I get to California, I'm still trying to find a nursing program. I'm still trying to figure out how to find that security in a job. And I keep getting told no, left and right. Doors keep shutting, and I keep getting my feelings hurt. So I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? I feel like everything that I'm trying isn't working. What is it that I'm doing wrong? So then I decide what's something that I could do in the meantime. If I figure I put nursing off till later, what is something I can do for now? What am I passionate about? I've always loved beauty. I've always loved doing my hair. I always loved skin, makeup, anything girly girl like that. I love. And I was like, well, how can I make that a career but still feel like I'm in a medical setting, which led me to aesthetics. So it's not quite, dermatology, but it's as close as you can get without being a doctor, I feel. Mm-hmm. It's still a medical setting, so when you're doing facials or waxes or, eyelash extensions, it's still in a therapy room, a treatment room. You're using medical grade products, and you get to treat people's skin. So that's what led me to doing my own business, especially like in the aesthetics community. A lot of the spas and things that you see out here, they nickel and dime for a lot of things that could be part of the normal spa experience. But when you have your own business, you control the menu, you control the experience that clients get. You don't have to worry about someone else trying to limit that experience. You can decide what is the standard of treatment that you want to provide.
Okay. Well, I love how you broke it down on how you get to the field of entrepreneurship. But I don't know if you remember. You probably do because I used to tell you all the time. When you were a child, I was like, you like to have control over things. That was your makeup, and I said you're gonna have a hard time working for somebody because you need to run your own business. So, a message to a lot of people who are listening out here is that, especially as parents, when you watch your child, watch how they act and conduct themselves, because oftentimes that's letting you know a direction they should be going in life, and you can help guide them in that way. And I'm happy that she's an entrepreneur because I just think that she's going to flourish so much, and she seems so much more happier. And yes, she has to work harder, I think, but eventually that will tail off, and you will be able to enjoy more of the fruits of your labor. So somebody already asked a question. It was one of the questions I already gave you, but Yusuf says, "What advice would you give a young entrepreneur?"
Okay. Water your own grass. I say that because I've grown up not quite in the age of social media, but I was becoming a teenager when social media was really important. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Vine, like all these different things coming out, and people are showcasing their lives. And I mean, I follow other spas and other estheticians, but I've gotten to the point where I can use that as inspiration rather than comparison. When you're looking on social media, people always show you the good parts of their lives. They show you the highlight reel. You never get the struggle, the tears, the disappointments, and all the challenges that entrepreneurs go through. So it may look like, wow, how do they already have 10,000, 12,000 followers, and I only have 200, or I only have 100, or I only have 50. It's because they've done the work necessary to get people to trust their brand, to get people to, believe what they're saying. So it's not that you're not capable of reaching that level. So you have to water your own grass. You have to, invest in your business, and you have to jump through those hoops and challenges in order to experience the benefits.
So water your own grass. This sounds like somebody's pretty wise in their young age.
Lots of experiences.
Another thing I want to add to Yusuf, I want to tell you, you want to make sure you love what you do. So evaluate what your gifts are, and oftentimes, talk to people closest to you. They can see what you are really good at if you can't really identify some things, and that will help guide you in the direction you should go. So this the whole journey we've talked about led you to opening up Honeycomb Aesthetics. First of all, why the name Honeycomb Aesthetics? Where did that come from?
Honestly, I started brainstorming a list at the beginning of esthetician school of things that reminded me of skin of color, or Black people in our skin, brown people in their skin. So I was like playing with different words like noir, and trying to make it sound really luxurious. And then I just kind of looked at myself, and I felt like my skin reminded me of honey. And then, just being a Black woman, being a Black girl, and having confidence in your skin and the color in it, and taking care of it. Honey is luxurious, it's rich, it's sweet. So like that's the experience that I feel like Honeycomb Aesthetics provides. I call myself the queen bee of skincare. Like anytime someone purchases from me, I write a note card, calling them a honeybee. So once you start getting services with Honeycomb Aesthetics, once you make a purchase from us, whether it's product or one of our skincare accessories, then you're officially a part of the hive. So then you become a honeybee.
So I'm a honeybee too?
Yeah. It just gives people like a sense of community. It makes them feel like they have a sense of belonging. So when you're getting your facial, like you're really vulnerable. When you're getting services, you're really vulnerable. So just feeling like you have that support system.
Okay, I like to hear that. So what would you say is your most popular service that you offer to people?
It's a battle between eyelash extensions and the 60-minute glow treatment.
What is the 60-minute glow? I'm not worried about eyelashes. So 60-minute glow treatment, what does that consist of?
So if you've never had a facial before, or if you just are coming in for maintenance, like you've been seeing me for a really long time, you just want something to pick your skin up, The 60-minute glow treatment is about a 10-step process facial. So I start you off with double cleansing. I oil cleanse the skin first, then I choose a cleanser to match the person's skin type. It includes a skincare analysis underneath the microscope. So I look at your pores, I look at your skin, see if there's inflammation or any conditions I need to look out for while I'm doing the treatment. And then I also validate what you came in to see me for. So if you felt like you had a lot of blackheads, then I can look under the microscope and confirm you see what you saw, or I can tell you it's something else and we can figure out how to move forward. I then choose to exfoliate the client's skin, and then exfoliation gets the client's skin ready for extractions. So I don't recommend extracting pimples at home by yourself. I also recommend that an esthetician extract a pimple, pustule, or blackhead, because when you do those things on your own, they can cause scarring. So it just becomes another reason to go see a professional, because if you do things on your own, it can make the condition worse or even inflame it. After extractions, I provide each client, every client is not extra, with a full lymphatic drainage massage on the face and neck and shoulders. So everybody gets the 5-star treatment, and you get a little massage after the extractions. And then after the massage, I know it's like a lot of steps. After the massage, you get a mask, and I also provide foot reflexology with every facial. And that happens during the mask portion. Foot reflexology helps with the body's muscles and organ systems. Every part of your foot is connected to an organ system or a different part of your body. So by massaging certain pressure points on the foot, you can cause relief across the whole body. After your mask, you get post-treatment, which involves toning, a serum for your skin type, a moisturizer, and if it's daytime, sunscreen.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. And I can say that I've had the service numerous times, and look at my face. But I look at my daughter's face, and you can look at Anointed. She is, she's the best representation of what she can do for you, because her face is immaculate. There's not one scar on her face. And what would you tell somebody who has some issues, like a person deals with eczema or something like that? How can they treat their skin, or what type of treatment would you do for somebody who came to see you who was dealing with eczema?
First, let's address Maria in A94. She says she loves your acting, so let's tell her thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Maria.
Okay.
Maria, I'm talking to my daughter. I'm interviewing her right now, so I didn't want to make it about me, but thank you.
And Growing For It says massages so much. Yeah, especially during allergy season. The lymphatic drainage massage helps with mucus buildup. So if you're in LA, come see me for that. But you asked me
if you have a client who comes to you who has problem skin, like eczema or something like that, they deal with, how would you take care of them?
First, it starts with understanding the condition that you believe you're facing. So maybe doing a little bit of research. What is eczema? How is it caused? Either seeing a dermatologist or an esthetician, just because eczema is what you would call a barrier disease per se. Eczema is something that you can't cure. It's something that just inflames. Sometimes it stays dormant. Other times, some of the things that you eat, some of the things that you're putting on your body, like lotions, perfumes, etc., they can also affect the condition. But because it is a barrier disease, or it impairs your skin's barrier, meaning that it makes it susceptible to the elements like wind, pollution, sun, pretty much anything. It strips that protective barrier, and it can make your skin extremely dry, which is how you get the patches from eczema. So using occlusives like a healing ointment from CeraVe or Aquaphor has a good ointment, or even just plain old Vaseline, using that to keep the area moisturized until the repairs itself.
Oh, okay. Well, Maria, she's engaging us. She said, I have a beautiful daughter. She said your skin is flawless. So.
Thank you. I also do, if you're not in LA, virtual consultations. So if you go to the Honeycomb booking site, that is an option. I recommend the line of products that I use in my treatment room. So they are professional. This is not something that you can go to Sephora, Ulta, Walgreens, or CVS and purchase yourself.
And I use the products she recommends because, I have to take care of my skin as well. So I appreciate everything she recommends with me. What now? You talked about the treatments. You talked about how you would help somebody who's dealing with problem skin. What plans do you have for Honeycomb, like in the next couple of years as it's growing? You know, because I can see you have a nice list of clients, and I'm impressed. So, how are you going to continue to grow it?
Growing plans for Honeycomb. So currently, I'm working out of a home studio that I have built myself. I actually started a GoFundMe, and the goal was for 3K. So with that, I bought products, my massage table, bed warmer, basically everything that you would want to see in a treatment room. I purchased with the GoFundMe money. Hi, Tenacious Spades, and was it Lane's Lillian?
Yeah.
But I also would like to, at some point, move to a small professional salon space, so that way I wouldn't have to work from home anymore, have a separate space for work, have a different place for my clients to go. That would be my first step. But of course, with the pandemic, that is looking a little different. Salon spaces aren't open in LA County right now. Only outdoor services are allowed. So I think I'm gonna wait on that for a little bit. Another thing I'd like to do is do my own product line. So the product line would be geared towards people who have barrier impairments, those with eczema, rosacea, psoriasis, even some small acne, some acne conditions. So we'll be focusing on barrier repair and hydration. Those are what I specialize on, and also hyperpigmentation.
Yeah, you took care of some of the stuff I had from the breakout. Now, how would you say that people who are dealing with COVID right now, who are really stressed out, would their face like show some of the effects of the stress? Can you help manage that as well?
Yeah, actually, one of the biggest things that's come out of COVID is people getting what we're calling maskne in the esthetician community. So because you're wearing this mask on a daily basis, some people have to work with their mask on, some people just simply run errands with them. It's causing people, it's rubbing against your skin, which is impairing the barrier. And with that barrier impaired, it allows bacteria and other little nasty things to get into the skin, which has caused a lot of people to develop acne. Some who have never had acne before, in their like mouth, lower chin, cheek area, because that's where the mask always is. That's one of the biggest things. I mean, of course, stress causes you to break out, but that's kind of like a normal, occurrence. Yeah, we are growing for it. She's but that some things I guess that you could use to help with maskne is stay away from exfoliating products. This is the time when your face has already been rubbed raw by this mask that you're wearing every day. And like I said, it's not something you can avoid, but you want to focus on hydrating your skin. So using a lot of hydrating products, things with hyaluronic acid in it, things with glycerins, like really rich ingredients, staying really gentle. So maybe taking your like super intense exfoliating cleanser down to something that's a little bit more simple. Getting a really good hydrating toner, a thick moisturizer, and then I'd also recommend using an occlusive like CeraVe healing ointment over the skin before you put your mask on, which would help with some of the rubbing. It would create almost like a coating that the mask has to rub through first. And if you're at work, taking time throughout the day to go to the break room, take your mask off, reapply your healing ointment, moisturize your skin, and then growing for it, I actually wouldn't say vitamin C because vitamin C exfoliates the skin. So that's actually an ingredient you want to stay away from during the time that you're trying to fight maskne.
Well, I appreciate you sharing some of the information. You guys are watching and listening to RDC Speak Life Sessions, and I have my very, very, very special guest, my beautiful daughter, Anointed Collins, who's the owner of Honeycomb Aesthetics. And this is part of our Young Entrepreneur series, so she's leading it off. So she started off at home plate today, and we'll be taking it over the next few weeks with other guests. I want you to share, because I don't want you to share too much of your secrets, because a lot of that goes to your consultations, and people have to book you for that. So I don't want to go too much with that.
Yeah.
one more
I'll
thing.
answer her question really quickly.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend it for anyone at this time. It may appear to be working for you. I hope you are using sunscreen while you're using the vitamin C as well on a daily basis, even if you aren't leaving your home, just to prevent hyperpigmentation. But I would just avoid staying away from any exfoliating ingredients during the time you're fighting acne. One last little free tip would be to ice the area 15 minutes on and off, like during the day if you have the time, because acne is an inflammatory condition. So if you ice your acne, if it's red, if it's really irritated, if it's painful, that'll aid in it and also help it go down. So, yeah.
All right. You're getting a lot of good responses back. So as far as sunscreen, you brought that up. Can you address, does everyone need to wear sunscreen? Because there's an argument that, you know, sometimes people feel like people with more melanin in their skin don't need sunscreen. What would you say to that?
If you have skin, you need sunscreen. That's what I say. I say this because, and I can say it from personal experience, so because I personally have eczema, the past breakouts that I had as a child and like in my adolescent years left me with hyperpigmentation. So it's not even noticeable at this point, but I used to have hyperpigmentation on my cheeks and on my neck area and even in between like my elbow. But everybody on the planet with skin needs sunscreen. And I say that because yes, people with darker skin do have more melanin, but the only thing is that doesn't protect you from premature aging. There's also something the sun causes called free radicals. So these are things that can cause cancer, they can cause disease, and preventing free radicals in your skin also helps with aging as well. And then a lot of people of color see hyperpigmentation really easily from the sun. Melanin is a really reactive chemical in the body, so it reacts to sunlight by darkening. So all sun is doing is damaging your skin inch by inch if you don't wear sunscreen. And then people with a lot of dark marks or dark spots from acne as well, if they're not wearing sunscreen, the hyperpigmentation will get worse. Just if you start wearing sunscreen alone and you find yourself with dark marks and you start wearing sunscreen every day and you're consistent with it for about 3 to 4 months, you'll start seeing your hyperpigmentation lighten on its own without even having to do any invasive or, you know, extra treatments like chemical peels or anything like that.
Well, you know what? And that's actually true because I've actually experienced that too. And even from, I can say for people who work either in production, if you're on a TV show, like if you're a newscaster or if you're an actor and you're in front of the lights all the time, you should wear sunscreen as well, because my skin started getting damaged from being in front of the lights often without wearing sunscreen. So I can attest to that as well. It's very important to make sure you protect your skin anytime it's exposed to a lot of light.
It can happen very easily, and then people expect hyperpigmentation that has formed over months or years. Even they come to you and expect you to fix it in one session. So I always tell clients, how many years did it take for the damage to happen? Okay, well, you have to give me at least the same amount of time to fix it. So people come in and they might be in their 50s, they might be in their 40s, and they're like, I've never worn sunscreen a day in my life, but I have all these dark marks around my cheeks and I need you to fix them now. Okay. That's not how it works. And then, you know, if you are wearing sunscreen and you are out and about, I recommend applying it every 2 hours. And then the amount of sunscreen also matters. So you can't just put one small dot in your hand and put that on your face and your neck and think that's enough. I always recommend 2 fingers full of sunscreen. So if you put it on each finger, that's enough for your face and your neck. And then I'm still also advocating for wearing sunscreen on your whole body as well. So clothing, while it serves as a protective, you know, method from sun, it is not resistant to sun exposure. So you might have on jeans, but you still need to put sunscreen on your legs. You might have on shoes, but you need to put sunscreen on the top of your feet, the top of your hand, and don't forget the top of your ears. Like, these are different places that burn, or people find skin cancer because they often neglect them because they don't think they're as exposed as they are. I'm even a big fan of wearing like hats and sunglasses anytime you go outside. The sunglasses help with UV protection from your eyes. And then the hat will also help with, the protection on your face, forehead, and neck.
Now, who is Tenacious Base? Do I know them?
Yeah, that's Taryn. Taryn says he does cocoa butter and then sunscreen. Well, Taryn, I personally know your face, and I'm going to tell you stop putting cocoa butter on your face. But still wear your sunscreen. Yes, see the ear tips. Growing forward, tip the ear tips. You got to make sure you get the sunscreen on the tip of your ears. I'm not just making this stuff up. But the only problem with sunscreen that I feel like on your body, that's okay, Taryn. That's okay. I don't put cocoa butter and shea butter on your face. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, no.
We'll get to that later. But as far as sunscreens go, a lot of them aren't formulated for darker skin tones. So a lot of Black people or people of color, they get like a white tint or it's like a purple tint from sunscreens.
Yeah.
So there's two different types of sunscreens, mineral sunscreens and also chemical sunscreens. So mineral/physical, those are the same. I recommend using a sunscreen that is a mix of both. So both sunscreens kind of like soak up the heat rays from the sun and they disperse it, so it kind of like shatters like the sun rays on contact.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like physical sunscreens work for people who might have more sensitive skin, who might have had reactions to sunscreen in the past. Chemical sunscreens, some of them contain reef-harming chemicals, so if you're going in the ocean, you don't want to wear a chemical sunscreen. So it's a lot. I sell a sunscreen from the company that I use on my site. This is what it looks like. It's like when you're going to look for a sunscreen, you want it to say at least SPF 30. That's like the minimum. And you want to buy your sunscreens in containers that are about this big because you're using a lot of it. Your sunscreen shouldn't last you for years. It's something that should maybe last you 4 to 6 months. You need a new bottle. You should be using that much every day.
Oh, wow. See, Growing For It is really engaging with you.
Yes.
So I can tell they're enjoying your talk. Can you share with some of the entrepreneurs, especially the young entrepreneurs, what's one of your biggest challenges you face with starting your business?
Well, I didn't choose to start my business in the midst of a pandemic, but that's what has been chosen for me. I ended up graduating esthetician school from Los Angeles Trade Technical College. It was a 1-year program. I graduated back in June, and the State Board of California for Cosmetology and Barbering, they have been taking their sweet time, like getting people in for testing. Contacting them is very hard. So I'm still trying to get in contact with State Board. It's just a lot going on. But in the midst of it, I still have to think, I was lucky to get my education. I'm happy to be done with it. Esthetician school was very testing and trying. But starting it in the middle of a pandemic has taught me to be creative. So I might not have a lot of clients coming to me to see me physically, but let me do virtual consultations. That's the way to see people and help them, even if they are in the same city. Selling products, so I started retailing the product that I use. That way I can promise the results, because when I was doing consultations before, I recommend products that I knew that I liked instead of, bringing that revenue to myself and saying, I sell these products, give me $250 for the consultation. That includes, an hour consult with me, a full ingredient menu, a full analysis of your current skincare routine, what may and may not be wrong with it, and then also the products that I recommend from my line are included with that consultation fee. Another thing that I've come up with is selling like jade rollers and facial headbands and things that people can have at home to make them feel like they are having a spa day if they can't get to a spa. And I feel like I'm gonna have a candle line coming soon. I've been playing with that to bring the spa home. So it's definitely made me get creative and think, what else can I do? A couple other things I've been playing with is doing like a Honeycomb Aesthetics eyelash line, strip lashes. So if you can't come to me and get like the eyelash extensions done, then you can purchase some that I would hand design. So I wouldn't order these from like a vendor. I would personally make the eyelashes.
Well, I was like, you're doing a lot. I'm glad that you said that what happened as far as you started this business during this time, and that you actually didn't choose to, but it chose you. But most millionaires and billionaires are made during times of adversity. So this is good for you to start during this time, and it's empowered you. Now, what last little things, I know you have to get ready to leave. So what last piece of advice would you give to an entrepreneur who really wants to start a business, and also let people know how you want people to stay connected with you and how they can go and purchase your products or either schedule consultations with you?
Okay. So someone wants to start their business. Honestly, it's just a matter of when. So people always talk about, yeah, I'm about to do this, or I want to do this, but then it just never comes to fruition because they never do it. Like I said, the pandemic has kind of shoved me into doing things that I thought I would have more time to do. I didn't plan on being a business owner until I had a couple years in the beauty industry as an esthetician, but it just so turned out that as soon as I graduated, I started the business.
Yeah.
It's just letting life push you into it. So not thinking about it, not waiting until the moment's right. There isn't going to be a right time, especially right now. There is no right time. We don't know when there will ever be one ever again. So just figuring out, like, could you start this business with little to no investment? Like, what's something that you can do that isn't going to cost you a lot of money, like on the front end, but something that you can make back? But let's see, what else? You asked me something else.
Oh, yeah. How do you want people to keep in touch with you and schedule their consultations? Because you do worldwide consultations. So how they can schedule with you and then even purchase your products?
Okay, so my website is honeycombaesthetics.me. So it's pretty easy to remember, but you can also visit the Instagram page, Honeycomb Aesthetics. That's where I post all of my work. That's where I post any updates. On the website as well, there's a shop tab. That's where you can purchase products from us, jade rollers, different accessories. And then for booking, it's on the website as well under booking, but also just visiting the Instagram page, there is a book now button. I'm located in Glendale, so it's pretty central. Yeah.
Well, I can say that your mother and I are extremely proud of you. Being a young woman now, you moved out recently, you got your own place, and you just have your own business, and you're doing everything that we raised you to do. So we are extremely proud. I get sad when I don't see you every morning, but I also get happy about the fact that you're doing what we raised you to do. And I know you're going to be extremely successful. Your face is going to be on billboards across the world for what you do. So just get ready to enjoy all the fruit of your labor. Look,
I'm excited. So I'm excited. It's definitely trying. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I don't have motivation to update my Instagram page for Honeycomb Aesthetics. Sometimes it gets hard because you have good client weeks where you're making like hundreds of dollars, and then you have other client weeks where it's like 2 to 3 weeks where no one books. And you kind of have to trust and believe that, like I said, if you keep watering your own grass, the people will come. So the reason why I decided, just one more thing, to just sell the products as well. I was seeing a lot of people who make their skincare homemade, which there's no problem if you want to make your own skincare and use it on yourself. But I'm a proud believer in lab formulated skincare. Things are measured out. Things have a proportion. These things have been formulated by a chemist. There's little to no chance for allergic reaction. The responsibility, if there were a reaction, would be on the company rather than you. And people are selling things like a bunch of oils mixed together and they call it a serum. Or, they make like a black soap bar and call it a cleanser. But, people don't take into account the pH level of these products. They don't take into account how these things really affect the actual anatomy of the skin because they haven't been educated on those things. So I definitely advocate getting products from a licensed professional or someone who has really done the work and done the research. So yeah, shop with Honeycomb. And our products, I stand behind them. If you go to the page, you can see me using them on on my own face. So I wouldn't use something on my clients. I recommend something to them if I would use it myself. This isn't just for profit. I'm really passionate about, you know, helping people become their best selves, to feel comfortable getting on an interview without any makeup, those type of things. That's kind of like what I got into skincare for, and that's what I try to sell every day.
Well, you do a good job at it, and that's your mother cheering in the back. But I do know, I promised to get you in and out within 30 minutes because you have a busy schedule. Isn't that something? I had to schedule to get to my daughter. So, but once again, thank you for being a guest on my show and talk about being a young entrepreneur and what you get ready to do to change the world and to make everybody beautiful on the inside and out. So, with that being said, I always close out my podcast with 3 things. You always remember to love God, love yourself, and love people, and life will be beautiful. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening to RDC Speak Life Sessions. Remember, Honeycomb Aesthetics, listen for that name. We love you, and we will talk to you later.
Bye.